I was in 8th grade. I remember like just having kind of a mild stomach ache and going to the bathroom and just being like, oh, did I accidentally shit my pants or is this period blood?
Periods. Just one word?
Normal.
Annoying.
I think of messy.
Uncomfortable. I say uncomfortable just because it takes out a lot from you. You have to be very mindful of what you wear. You have to be mindful of what you eat. I'm usually moody, so it's just a very uncomfortable couple of days.
What word do you think of when you hear the word period?
Oof, pain.
Pain because there's a bunch of cramps. Pain also because there's so many women out there that suffer for sanitary poverty. They don't get the supplies that they need. And bullying. People are always like, girls smell like fish and girls smell like trash. And it's like, you have to deal with pain no matter what you go through during your period.
Period.
Dysphoric. It can be very triggering and reminiscent of times where you are seen as a woman, and for trans men or non-binary people, that can be something they really want to be distanced from.
Health. I think of a lot with period. I have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and when I get my period, it means that I'm very healthy.
For a very long time I had eating disorders, and so I didn't actually have my period. So now that I have it, it's a sign of health. It's a sign that my body's doing what she knows to do and what she needs to do. At least for me, I think that that's a sign of health.
What word comes to mind when you hear the word period?
Like shame, just because, I don't know, growing up there were so many period jokes in movies and media and at school and stuff. Like, just made me feel kind of shitty about being someone who bleeds through everything all the time.
Have you ever felt ashamed of your period before?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Definitely. I remember back in like middle school and high school, I lived in so much secrecy with my period. I would very quietly pass tampons and pads to my friends so as to not disturb the rest of the class.
I used to do the thing like at school when like I need to go and like change my tampon. I have to like discreetly reach into my bag.
I would hide it like my pad underneath my shirt. Sometimes it'd be like in the waist of my pants.
If I'm using a pad, I may pre-open it a little bit so there's not all the rustling.
And when I was in the bathroom, I'm like trying to quietly unwrap it, even though they make tampon wrappers like the loudest wrappers possible. So yeah, there's definitely been some shame and like discomfort with my period.
I remember this one moment. I was on a road trip with my friend and I was having a really strong flow, and I remember my friend's mom got mad at me because I bled a little bit on her leather seats of her car. And I took that with me into my adulthood and wanting to be clean and neat all the time, even when a period is everything but that.
What do you wish you had known when you first started menstruating?
Oh boy, everything that I know now.
That it's normal. About 50% of the world goes through this. And that it's okay to ask questions about it.
I wish I had known there's nothing wrong with it. It's okay. It's not something to be ashamed of. And I can remember that my first period, I was just like upset. I remember I wasn't embarrassed. I wasn't scared. I knew what was happening, but I was just mad because now I would have to deal with this thing. And I would have to negotiate my new reality with the world around me that didn't want that to be in public. And I wish that when I first got my period, I could have just been like, fuck all that noise and just lived my life and not had to worry about it.
How do you think the culture around periods needs to change?
Oh, yes. The culture around periods needs to change drastically. I think there's still just a lot of shame around body parts in general, particularly female body parts, hair, bleeding, like just things that are really normal and natural to the human body. So I think there needs to be a lot of normalizing conversations around those things.
I don't know. I guess I hope that future, generations can like not have to consume so much media that's like, ew, women are gross, blood's icky. I hope that just the dialogue can really like evolve a little bit and just not be like a joke anymore.
I think there needs to be more open dialogue about it. Trans men have them, non-binary people have them. They need to be supported. I think it's really important that men's rooms also have supplies for those people.
How does the culture around periods need to change? I think that it is changing. I've seen videos and pictures of parents throwing their children period parties and like having like cakes and stuff. And I mean, that might be a little bit extra, but also like, I feel like my older relatives called it the curse. So like being able to embrace your period as like a natural bodily function, that would be really great.
I think the culture around periods needs to change and make it just a normal part of bodily function. It's hard for me to rationalize or even like empathize with this concept that it should be something that's shamed. It's just doesn't help me.